Wow, we have people waiting for us today already. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Youth Spotlight. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Emmanuel is here in the comment section, says anticipating Christian good news. Welcome. James, welcome. Zainab, welcome. John, welcome. Stephanie, welcome. If you can hear me, please let me know that you can hear me loud and clear so we can get started, okay? If you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me so we can get started for today. If you are just seeing me for the first time, my name is Success Oluamara Nweze, and I am the corporate executive at Jamie Pajol International, and also the founder of OSN Global Services Limited, a digital marketing company that provides sales, marketing, growth, and visibility solutions to digital creators and online business owners. Yesterday's session on Youth Spotlight was amazing. It was super, super amazing. We had Samuel Dike and Val Okafor, and today we have two powerful young leaders that they are ready to join us. So, okay, Stephanie says loud and clear. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Tag your friends, okay? Let them know that we've started this live session. Tag your friends. Emmanuel, tag your friends. Christian, tag your friends. James, tag your friends. Tag at least 10 people, okay? Tag at least 10 people. Mr. John, tag your friends as well. Stephanie, tag your friends. Tag at least 10 people to join us today. We are ready. Let me see your tags. Let me see your tags. Our guests are ready and they are backstage. They are just waiting to see how prepared we are. Okay, so on Youth Spotlight, we know what we usually do here. It is common knowledge right now. What we do is we invite young leaders who are doing amazing things across various industries and have them share their stories. They are going to be sharing their motivations, their challenges, how they started, how they got to where they are, and we pick our lessons from them, right? Today we are having two amazing young leaders, Miss Chioma Nnanna and Mr. Bethel Onyema. So how ready are you to have them? How ready are you so I can bring them on board? Thank you so much, Stephanie, for tagging. Please tag your friends. Okay, we are about to get started. And the value we are going to be getting today, you should not get it alone. You need your friends to come and hear these stories. You need your friends to come and hear these stories as well. Tag your friends. Anthony says loud and clear. Okay, thank you so much, Anthony. Tag your friends. Tag your friends. We are going to be getting started in a while. Let me go online. Let me go to my WhatsApp and tell my community members as well that we are live so everyone can join us. So everyone can join us. We need everyone to join us. Please tag your friends. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. Stephanie is tagging and saying it's time to learn. Thank you. Tag more people, okay? Let them know that it's time to learn. Tag more people. Let them come and get started. Okay, I've put my own out there. We are live and we are ready to get started. I'm not seeing only Stephanie. Stephanie is the only one tagging. No, please tag your friends. Tag as much people as you can. We need so many persons. We need a lot of ears to hear us today. We need a lot of ears to hear us today. Thank you, Ozoma Prisi. Thank you for tagging. You can tag as many people as you want. Invite them to come and share in this value that we are going to be getting today. Okay, so let's start. I already mentioned the names of the people we are bringing on today, Miss Chioma Nnanna and Bethel Onyema. Let me start by introducing Miss Chioma Nnanna. So Chioma Nnanna, popularly called the Coach with Results, is a multi-award-winning author of over 6 books and a best-selling fashion magazine. Sorry about that. Chairman Nana, a popularly called the Coach with Results, is a multi-award-winning author of over 6 books and a best-selling fashion magazine. She's an international public speaker and highly sought-after spoken word artist. She is the founder of Creatives in Business Africa, CIB Africa, a community of over 19,000 members. CIB Africa organized one of the biggest virtual empowerment programs for 10,000 African youths. It also organized the Million Naira Idea Project targeted at 50,000 African youths in support of SDG 1. The goal was to turn regular ideas of young people into thriving businesses that would produce at least 1 million naira within the first year of free mentorship from business experts like Paul and provide employment to at least 2 young people. The winner got a non-refundable seed capital and the monthly mentorship is still on for the top 5. Some of her awards include, but are not limited to, the Leadership Excellence Award by Mogi Global Leadership School, the Young Influencer of the Year by Tiba, Outstanding Spoken Word Artist of the Year by the Illustrious African Writers Award, Top 25 Authors in Nigeria by Bewa Africa, Public Speaker of the Year 2021 by Yoma, Global Educator by the Exceptional Educators Award. As a speaker, she was invited by the American Spaces in Nigeria to facilitate a session during its massive open online courses, streamed live in several states in Nigeria. She was invited by John Obidi to train participants on the business of book publishing during the digital skills training organized by Head Start Africa, a community of over 200,000 members in partnership with Access Bank. She taught participants public speaking during the 4 days physical Find Your Voice training by Vocal Area Academy in Anambra State. She hosts the periodic Advanced Skill Up Initiative, which is the most practical and intensive online training on creative writing, public speaking, and spoken word. It has over 1,000 participants from several countries. She was a guest speaker at Hilltop Encounters, an annual international youth talk show broadcast to several countries like Canada, Austria, etc. She honored the invitation to speak at the Financial Fitness Conference organized by Fringe and Ride in partnership with the SecGen of the SUG in Unizik. She anchored the Digital Business Bootcamp organized by Fee Steven at the American Corner Ikeja and also the Lagos Authors Hangout with Emeka Nobis. She anchored the XYZ Financial Congress in Owerri. She was a red carpet host at TEDx Ikenebu and a panel discussion moderator at Public Speaking Summit Norway. She was recently in Delta State as a guest speaker at the Alive conference, Tagged Smash, organized by the Girl Child Initiative. She was a special guest during the 7th edition of the Next Level Conversation with Val Ukafo. She was also a panelist at Conversations with the Dawn, held in Port Harcourt by Mechanobis, with participants traveling from different states to be a part of the event. As the founder of Young and Getting It Right, she and her team support SDG4 by organizing secondary school outreaches where they share their stories with these young ones so they don't repeat mistakes they've made and talk to them on a variety of topics. You see those stories, you are going to be hearing them today. So I hope you are getting ready to welcome Ma'am Chioma Nnanna, because the bio is a long one and so is the value she's going to deliver to us today. So please get ready. The mission is to provide trainings and books on personal development, entrepreneurship, and other life skills that formal education curriculum does not cover for teenagers. So far, they've done it in 3 schools in the western part of Nigeria and 3 schools in the southern region, impacting over 1,000 students. She is currently planning on taking it to 2 states in the east. Chioma believes that impossible is nonsense and the world is our stage. Yeah, someone says coach with results already. So if you're ready to bring Ma'am Chioma Nnanna on board, if you're ready to have her here on board with us, let's see your welcome in the comment section. She's ready and she's backstage, okay? Let's see your welcome, your fire emojis in the comment section. Let us see your fire emojis in the comment section. Guys, please bring it on. Put your fire emojis, okay? She's ready. And I'm sure her tribe members are here as well, listening. So please, let her see how ready, let her see just how prepared you are to hear her story. I'm sure she's prepared to share everything with us as well. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Tolu Walobe. I hope I got your name right. Exactly. The world is our stage and impossible is nonsense. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Chioma Nnanna to the stage. Thank you so much, Chioma. You are welcome. Thank you so much for accepting our invite to be here today. And we can't wait to have you share all the value with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Success. It's an honor to be on the Youth Spotlight today.
Okay, let's bring on board Mr. Bethel Onyema. Let us bring on board Mr. Bethel Onyema. Bethel Onyemechi is a devoted and ardent kingdom diplomat who is driven by kingdom advancement in the area of skillfulness and influence. He is an internet business consultant, skill monetization expert, seasoned content creator, Amazon self-publishing expert, affiliate marketer, and brand growth with mind-blowing results and records. He is striving in all possible best to impact his generation through any permeable means of communication and relationships. He maximizes every opportunity to break the mediocrity and smallness indoctrination that has been chipped into the motherboard of our hearts and has existed and systemized the lifestyle of Africans. He achieves this through his seasoned, spirit inspired contents, summits, conferences, and personal life guidance sessions. He served as a lead coordinator in youth organization past years till 2018. He has spoken in a few physical summits and so many virtual summits, trainings, conferences, etc. He has impacted over 5,000 persons directly and indirectly within the last 10 months online. He is the lead trainer of the School of Content Writing and Audience Building, SOCAB, where he teaches people how to constructively create content that positions them strategically as industry experts and thought leaders. He is the convener of the Maximum Productivity Summit, an annual summit that is geared towards igniting a high level of productivity in the lives of people in their respective endeavors and making them produce tremendous results for efforts given in. Bethel Onyema is also the founder of the Thrivers Tribe, a Facebook community that is targeted at raising change makers and building young people who are poised with making impact and creating wealth. He hosted the Thrivers Conference, which had great impact and testimonies from the participants. He is driven and passionate about growth and development, and he uses the kingdom principles to establish that. He loves to see individuals grow and milk every opportunity online in their businesses and service rendering. He has won many awards for speaking, for participating and facilitating so many seminars, trainings, volunteering, and so forth. He is popularly known to use the slogan, "Let us thrive," in his valuable posts online, which has never left the mouth of his followers, which made give him a name in the online space, the Thrive King. So if you are here and you came for Mr. Bethel Onyema, welcome him in the comment section. Someone is here already. Sylvia, thank you so much. The Thrive King. Thank you, Stephanie. Miracle Agabi. So let us bring Mr. Bethel Onyema on stage now. Thank you so much, Bethel, for joining us here today. It's such an honor to have you speak with us this morning.
Thank you very much, Success. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here live on Youth Spotlight. Thank you once again.
Okay, I'm trying to change the layout of this so we can get started with the questions as soon as possible. Let me quickly change the layout. Okay, while I try to do that, let's start with Miss Chioma Nnanna. She does a whole lot of things, and I cannot wait to hear her story this afternoon. So please, I want the questions to be streamlined, although we may have to ask other things, right? But let us hear your story. So from there, I would know the kind of questions to pick and ask you. How did you start? Like, how did Chioma Nnanna start? How did the coach with results come about?
Okay, so my story is not something out of a comic book or something you would consider as extraordinary. I consider my story as proof that anybody who wants more can get more. That is the summary of my story, as proof that anybody who wants more can get more. Because right from when I was a kid, I always knew that I want to be more. I don't want to just live, breathing air, eat food, and I'm gone. I want to leave my mark. So even when I join organizations or I join clubs or I participate in one activity or the other, I always want to be that person that is memorable. That person you can say, oh, she made this impact. So when I was when I was in primary school, I was the kid representing competitions. In secondary school, I was the head girl. I was one thinking, oh, what can I do as a legacy project that would make my name to be remembered in school? And then I came up with an award ceremony. I got into university too. What can I do to leave a mark? And so that's what I'm always thinking about. What can I do? What can I do to contribute to the world? What can I do to maximize my gifts? There are things that come easily to me. We call them talents, right? We call them gifts. So these things are they come easily to me. How can I make use of them? Because I must have them for a reason. There's a reason God made writing so easy for me. There's a reason He made me able to speak eloquently. How can I maximize this? All my experiences, both the failures and the successes, they are all for a reason. I don't believe anything just happens. I believe everything is part of a puzzle to paint a big picture. So how can I maximize my story? How can I maximize those things that have been made to be at my disposal? So that's why I have Yagi. That's why I have CIB Africa. They are solutions. They are my way of making my names embedded in the sands of time. They are my way of contributing to society. Like, for example, CIB Africa. I started CIB Africa because I saw that we had a lot of young people who want to be financially free, who want to get more out of life, but they are stuck. They don't know where to start from. So we started with what? Empowerment programs. Give them skills. If they have skills, then they can make money. Then they can offer services. Now, apart from skills, the next edition we were like, oh, people have skills, but they have poor work ethics. They don't really understand the principles of business. They don't understand the principles of connecting with people. They don't understand how to maximize the skills we've given to them. So the next edition we invited successful people, people like John Obidi, Michael Ladipo, Chinasa Favor. Apart from our trainer that taught them skills, they had to now teach them, tell them about their own success story so they could replicate it. Because one thing that has worked for me, that's been a huge part of my story, is I watch people from afar. I have several role models. I don't have a lot of mentors, but I have a lot of role models. I call them role models because I learn from them back from afar. There are a lot of people I learn from today that I've not spoken to them, but I just watch them and then I pick lessons from them. For a long time, I think I followed Genevieve for up to 3 years before we even had one-on-one conversations. But I'd learned so much from him that you would think that we used to have one-on-one mentorship sessions, but no, I would just see him, study him. Oh, I like the way he wrote this article. What made me like it? How can I learn from this? He had a lot of videos on Facebook, on YouTube. I went to gulp those things down. And that's why I tell a lot of people that your excuses are very inconsequential. Your excuses are not valid. They don't hold any water. Because the things you are waiting for, they are alternatives to those things. But you want everything to be prepared like a table before you in the presence of your enemies. You're waiting for silver spoon. You're waiting to be fed, and then somebody will give you water. No, find a way to get the things you want. You might not have access to the mentors you want to have access to, but you have their materials online. Watch them. There is so much. I believe that one of even the best ways to learn is to pick your lessons yourself. Don't let it get handed over to you. Because if they hand it over to you, they're basically giving you a manual. They're telling you, do this, do that. They are giving you what has worked for them, and it might not work for you. But when you study people and you pick your lessons for it by yourself, you are going to pick out those things that jump at you, those things that relate to your own journey. Not people telling you what worked for them, because what works for success might not work for me. But I'm saying, oh, this is my template. It works for me. It must work for you. And I might now reroute your destiny because nobody knows you better than yourself. They might be trying to help you, but it doesn't mean they are helping you. Like, I like to give an analogy. If I bring fire, there's fire here now, and you put your hand into it, you put your hand into it knowingly, it's going to burn you, right? It's going to burn you. But what if
Yes.
there was fire and you did not know there was fire there and you put your hand into it mistakenly? Will it still hurt you? Yes.
No.
It doesn't matter the intention behind it. Fire is fire, it is going to hurt you. Wrong advice is wrong advice, it's going to hurt you, whether or not it was given with the purest of intention. So sometimes we have to be very careful the kind of advice we get. We have to filter things. So I advise people, when you have mentors, as you listen to them, also watch them. A lot of things are unsaid. A lot of the lessons you would actually need to go higher, they might not tell you themselves. There are things we call trade secrets. They can't tell you. So you have to study them, watch them for yourself. Plus, I also mentioned they might not know you exactly. They might be giving you from their best intentions, right? But
Yeah.
they can only see who you are today. They don't know what the other talents that you are hiding that only you are aware of. We've not yet showed it to the world. Social media is a very, very filtered world. We only show the parts of ourselves that we want to show. For example, imagine a mentor. This did not happen. No, I'm just saying. Imagine a mentor telling me that I should just stick to public speaking, and it's going to be the thing for me. But this mentor is unaware that one of my greatest passions is acting, and I have goals to have my own theater, have my own stage plays, and that is why I like spoken word. That is why I like public speaking. That's why I like writing. All of these skills together comes together would help me when I'm ready to do what I'm really passionate about. That's why I don't like these things I'm doing now, but they are like stepping stones. They are parts of the puzzle to paint that big picture. And then you tell me to focus on just one thing, but you don't know about the other parts of me that I'm not yet showing online. You'll be and because of the if I was someone who swallows things hook, line, and sinker, I would just take that and I might be living below my potential. What if I was meant to be the next Tyler Perry? Now you've made me to be a second grade Oprah Winfrey. Do you understand? So you should
Yeah.
be able to filter advice, know yourself for yourself, discover who you are. These things will help you. So my story is basically one of discovering myself, picking from people. I like to pick lessons, add my own originality to it, and make something better. Find a way to help people. I believe in throwing back the ladder down. So as I learn from people, I find other people to help. That is why I host a lot of programs like this. That's why I host a lot of programs like this. And I'm very truthful to myself. You can lie to a lot of people, but don't lie to yourself. Okay, don't lie to anybody actually. But the truth is, don't lie to yourself most of all. You are the person you must be most truthful to. Be most truthful to yourself. So even when I do all this, my NGO work, my non-profit ventures, I understand that for it to be sustainable, I must have a source of income. And it reminds me of what one of our speakers, about two speakers even said it during the JPI Annual Leadership Conference in Rwanda. Thank you, Dr. Jamie. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to get sponsored for that conference because it did a lot of rewiring for me, and it also helped to solidify a lot of ideas I already had before, a lot of notions and convictions I already had before. And what did they say? You can't be trying to fund an NGO and you want other people to use their money to fund it for you. Have something you are doing. Otherwise, you that is trying to help the poor will become poor. Imagine a blind man trying to lead a blind man. You both fall into the ditch. And we see a lot of young people these days. Maybe they see it as it's a new trending thing. You see your mentor has a non-profit organization, and so you feel, oh, you want to have your own too. There's something called blindly copying strategies. Why do you want to copy it? What is the essence? Do you understand the why behind it? You just copy things blindly, and that is why you're having issues. Before you have an NGO, please have a business that's giving you money. Have what is giving you money. Otherwise, you'll be as poor as those you are trying to help, and then who's going to help you? You just became another poor person. You became a problem while trying to be a solution. No, you have to come out of the pit. Then you can throw the ladder down. So I had a business that was giving me money. I had my trainings, my books. I had the things I was doing. I posted about my story a lot of times. So I've done a lot of things, a lot of legit businesses, and then I was not able to start my non-profit. So please, my advice to young people out there, because I say a lot of non-profit by young people, please have something that gives you money before you run non-profits or run them side by side. But ensure you've reached a level where you can't become like those you're helping, because it's going to be very, very sad if you're trying to feed people and we have to feed you too. So I'm going to stop here and maybe wait for more questions about my story.
It's okay. We've already started learning. Even just at the beginning, we've already started learning, and they are already feeling you in the comment section. Like there are comments everywhere, fire emojis, pick lessons, add originality, and become better. Be truthful to yourself. Don't blindly copy strategies, etc. So that's just a soft landing. And thank you so much for sharing your story. Mr. Bethel, let's hear you as well. How did you start your own journey?
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. Thanks for that. Well, let me use this opportunity to say a very big welcome to my phenomenal coach, Coach Chioma Nnanna. It's a privilege to be your spotlight alongside you. I really appreciate you for all you're doing. You are doing so very well. I really appreciate you so very well. I admire you a lot. Thank you very much for all you're doing. God bless you. Okay, so back to my story, and yes, I it's a very long one actually, but I'll try to make it short because I know there are so many other things to talk about. And way back in 2012, that was when my journey started at as a secondary school leaver. So I started looking out for opportunities to, make money. And then I didn't really start out live on social media. I was actually on social media, but I really don't know what social media was all about. So for me, it was a place for fun. It was a place to look out for trends and see what is going on the internet and all of that. So I was particularly looking out for ways to make ends meet. So fast forward to 2014, I came across an organization then. It's called Hopes of Africa International. So I came across this organization and then I joined, and that was where my journey started actually. I met a lot of persons who inspired me, young persons actually who inspired me. I got to know that there are young persons who are so much poised with a lot of visions and dreams. So they rubbed off on me, and that was when I conceived a whole lot of visions personally about my life and the things I really wanted to achieve in life and all of that. So then I was a young guy without clarity. Outside having vision and all of the dreams, so there was no clarity, there was no direction. Actually, I never had a mentor earlier in my life. Just like Coach Choma said, there are persons who we admired, okay, but they were very far from us. They never knew us by our names. We never had a one-on-one conversations with them, but then we admired them, and they were all we had as inspirations. So, but then I never had a mentor, and that really did not help me grow very fast. In as much as we were people, I was a young man actually who had dreams. I was a young man who was inspired by so many visions, and then I had a lot of persons also who had a lot of visions that we hang around all the time, but there was no one to really hold us accountable and then give us clear-cut directions about how life can be journeyed without having hiccups on the way. We are okay. So it's been a roller coaster for me actually, ups and downs, really, so many challenges. So I remember when I was made the youth coordinator for Hopes of Africa International. I moved from being a community youth manager to being the youth coordinator of the fellowship actually when our president resigned. So I was actually made the coordinator for the organization, and then that was when I started my leadership, leadership experience and all of that. So then we had over 200 young persons in the community then, in the organization rather. And then we had fellowships and then days where we gather and then we discuss about life and all of that. So we had other activities where we give people platforms to show forth their gifts, their talents and potentials and all of that. So that was when my leadership experience started. And then one of the days we had a convention that was around December 2014, 2015 rather. So we had a convention that had over 500 persons. I love to tell this story because then we were all just clouded with vision, dreams, and all of that, but we never knew what we were doing. Okay, so but I think I cannot tell my story without making reference to these days when I really started, because these are the days that really gave me the visions that I'm even pursuing up until now. Okay, so despite the fact that there was no clarity, I had no mentorship, I had no direction, but I knew I was pursuing something, and it was centered around leadership, impact, and helping people discover who they really are. Okay, so then in that convention, we had over 500 persons, and that was when I started seeing light on my path. And then I told myself, Bethel, you really can do very well if you choose to be a person of impact. And then so many persons started reaching out to me offline, not online. So we started seeking for counseling. I was very young when people started seeking for counseling. I didn't know what I was doing. I only could good advice at the level of my knowledge then. But then the little things we did mattered then. Okay, so yeah, so the little things we did mattered. And then up until 2016, I resigned from Hopes of Africa, and I joined Presidential Christian Youth Fellowship then, PCYF, in 2016. And then I served there for 1 year as an ESCO member. So during the tail end of 2016, we had a youth summit. Yeah, youth summit 2016. That was around November during that period, and we had a lot of persons then in Aba. Yes, what a lot of persons attend young persons rather attend that convention, and then it was really mind-blowing. And then after that, a lot of persons reached out to me, and they were like, guy, you should start a fellowship yourself, start a youth organization yourself, be the leader and all of that. So I told them that I was not ready to own an organization for myself, that I wanted to just serve as an ESCO member. Trust me, I never knew what I was doing. So I had other engagements actually, my offline work, my teaching job then, I did a lot of things actually just to make money, and everything I got then was, we are all invested in the youth organization and all of that. So fast forward to 2018 when I actually got admission into university. So I that was then I met purpose actually. I met direction. I had someone who mentored me. I was meant to understand that life is not always about me. It's not always about me leadership. It's always about service. How can you serve others? So I never knew there was anything like service. I knew I was leading a fellowship. I knew I had people who were under me and all of that, but I never knew that you could serve your way through. And then my mentor then, who is Pastor Frank Erondu, and he's still my mentor actually. So he sat me down on a one-on-one conversation, and then he told me, Bethel, you were doing a whole lot already, but then I want you to calm down. He said, calm down. And then, wow, I was very shocked because I never had someone tell me, Bethel, calm down, because I thought I was actually on the speed lane. And then he told me, Bethel, calm down, that there is a place for learning, there is a place for service. And then 2018, I had to cut off every other engagement, offline and online. I had to bend down and serve. I served in church, I served in other activities. And then Pastor Frank Erondu was, in fact, he was so dear to me because everything I knew about life now started from our relationship as a mentor and mentee. Okay, so, and then he took me through the journey of learning, took me through the journey of service and all of that. So I learned to serve actually. And then through 2018 to 2019, I had other things I was doing actually, that online particularly, that was earning me money. And then I used to be a graphic designer. I used to do a lot of things, just to make money. I'm a network engineer, computer network engineer. So I did all of that, back end to make ends meet. But then fast forward to 2020, during the COVID-19 period. So there was no job was coming, and then I was really frustrated financially. Really frustrated financially. Okay, so I started looking out for ways to make money online. That was when I started paying attention to online, to social media actually. And then I got to meet Miss Esther Adebayo. Okay, she's a graphic design coach, and then I paid for her class then, and then she mentored me to an extent, and then I started out. Okay, so that was when I knew that someone can actually leverage social media to make money. I started making money from social media 2020. And then I got my first payment. It was like the world. The first payment actually then was 2,000 naira, but it felt like 20,000 naira actually. Okay, so then I was just a second year student, and seriously, trust me, 2,000 naira then was like 20,000 naira to me. It was like the whole world. So I was like, wow. So somebody can actually sit at home, make money from a smartphone, people pay you for what you do and all of that. So I started developing strategies on how I can be able to make money from online using my smartphone. That was when I started reaching out to a lot of persons that I know they were influential then. It was actually my experience and all of the strategies that I applied during um during my trying to look for a way to strategies to make money online and all of that got me access to a lot of persons that have helped my life today. So a lot of top industry experts, I met them because I was a service rendering. I was actually doing service rendering, all of that. So I I had access to them because some of the strategies that I used was actually what I call emotional banking. So I got to volunteer for them even without them knowing. I offered services to them free of charge, and then some of them were indebted to me and they offered help in certain ways and all of that. So I also tried out the DM strategy, DM marketing, and all of that. So all of these periods were just me navigating my way through social media. I never had directions, no clarity, and all of that. So, but fast forward to last year, it got to a point when I was really frustrated, and then the jobs were no longer forthcoming, and then I started looking out for strategies also to make money from social media as at that time. And then I had to, it was really funny because I've really tried a lot of things online. So at the point I had to raise money and then I joined affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing was what brought me to a lot of experiences that I've had on social media. So that I've used to that I'm leveraging today to teach a lot of persons on how to navigate their way through social media and all of that. So at a point, it was like it was no longer coming and all of that. So I just had to pause. And at a certain level online, I started becoming very, very frustrated. It became so overwhelming and all of that. So I had to take a break. And during that period when I was on break, that was when actually I found my purpose. Okay, so whatever I'm doing actually right now was during the period that I was off social media. I was totally off social media for close to a year. For close to a year, no marketing, no content. In fact, I uninstalled every single social media app from my phone. And then this 1 year was my building time. Trust me, I leveraged this 1 year to build capacity. I leveraged this 1 year to build my potentials. I had mind shift in this 1 year. I read books, attended so many conferences, and I told people, and I will still say it every time, I'm a product of conferences. Okay, so people who do not pay for conferences do not know what they are missing. I'm a product of conferences. I'm a product of seminars. I attend some conferences a lot, and I'm still attending. I'm still paying.
I
Okay,
think
so
that's
this
why
one year really this
that's
one
why
year
you
really exposed me to a whole lot. And then that was when I discovered that you see, you can be doing a whole lot of things, you can be consistent, you can be putting a whole lot of energy, but then you'll be producing very little. And then you'll be
yes,
surprised.
yeah,
You'll be surprised. The problem is not because you're not doing it correctly. The problem is because you've not sat down to have, first of all, a mind shift, because everything we do in life is a product of our thought process. Okay, so I had mind shift in this 1 year. My capacity, the progress, everything we'll do online today was built in 1 year between
wow,
2022 and 2023. So when
wow,
I came back online, I had clarity. I already know what I was coming to do. Okay, so I was not just a random social media user. I was not just a random marketer online who was trying to sell digital products and then get my commission as an affiliate marketer. Then I already made my decisions that I was coming for impact and influence. And then during this 1 year, actually, I did not just sit back at home and then read books and attend seminars. I also engaged myself. That I still say it and say it all over again. See, you are a product of the things you engage in. Okay, productivity is a result of your engagement. Okay, if there is no engagement, there is no productivity. As much as you engage, you build your capacity. As much as you engage, you build your capacity. The more you are engaging is the more you are building your capacity, the more you are building your capabilities. Okay, so during this 1 year I was off social media, I engaged in so many things in church organization. I enrolled in DLI in Dominion City. I enrolled in Kingdom Diplomat Academy. I attended so many conferences and all of that. So I had things that were on my shoulders to carry. I had responsibilities to carry within this 1 year. So people who are running away from responsibilities, you don't know you are trying to limit yourself of the potentials of the capabilities that are within your possibilities. All right. So it is possible that a lot more can be achieved when you engage yourself. A lot more can be produced when you engage yourself. So you are a result of the things you engage. So, and when I see people say that limit themselves, they have some self-limiting beliefs and all of that, trying to shy away from all the possibilities and potentials that are within them and all of that. So I tell them that you really do not know what you have inside of you. Okay, if Bethel can within 1 year build so much capacity, I mean, you can too. Who cannot? So that's the question. If within 1 year I can be able to gain clarity, develop myself, build potentials, build capacities, gather a lot of skills. Now I can tell you comfortably that I can stay in my home and mentor a lot of persons. Yes, I built that capacity within 1 year. And yes, true, all the times I've spent, in the organization and all of that, they are not in waste actually. But seriously, I didn't know what I was doing. So I built capacity the more, I gained clarity within this period of 1 year that I sat down and intentionally decided to learn. So sometimes the reason why we are frustrated in the things we do is that we've not bent down to learn. We've not had time to bend down, and all of us we just want to find ourselves doing one thing or the other and all of that. So many persons do not know there is a place for learning. So many persons do not know there is a place for service. Okay, and then there's a place for engagement. Even if you know a lot and you don't engage, if you don't act on your knowledge, you will not produce any results. So I just want to encourage everyone listening to me right now from my story. This is your take home. Okay, find one, that is a place to learn. There's a place for learning. There's a place for service, and there's a place for engagement. All right. So it's in engaging in all the things you've learned in your services that you build capacity. If I can do it in 1 year, you too can do it. Thank you very much, man.
Okay, Bethel says if he can do it in 1 year, he too can do it. I remember, yeah, I saw a post. I think there was one time people were sharing about you. You were hosting something and they were like, you were able to do all of this in just 3 months or so. I think I saw something like that. And it was really, really
Okay.
interesting. That was the first time I got to hear about you and I visited your profile and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
done all of this in, yeah, that you've done all
Exactly. I
of
think
this
that
in
was
just
that
3
was
months.
my maximum productivity summit. So I
Yeah,
actually go back on social media November 25th last year. Yeah, November 25th last year. This account I'm using right now is actually November 25th. So it's not even up to a year. It's not even up to a year. But the truth is that you see, when you actually know what you are doing, you have clarity, you have focus, you have direction, you'll be on a very speed lane. Okay, because you actually know what you're working on, you actually know what you are expecting, and then you act on it. So that is just that.
yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for that very inspiring story. It's a very soft ground that we are starting on right now, and they are welcoming you, the Thrive King. Let us thrive. Everyone is just so excited in the comment section, and they are dropping snipers of the things you just said. Please, guys, tag more people in the comment section. Okay, let them know that we are about to get into the real gist, the real questions. What they did was just introduction, so we are going to start the main stuff. Okay, keep tagging people in the comment section. Let them know that we've started. Miracle, thank you so much for joining. Helen, thank you for joining. Tag people in the comment section. Dorcas Paul, tag at least 10 people in the comment section. Okay, invite your friends, invite everyone. Let them know. Wow, the comments are really on fire today. Chioma Nnanna and Bethel Onyema, you guys brought the fire, and they are loving every single thing that you are saying. They are loving every single thing that you are saying today. So, Bethel, let's start. Let me start with the challenges question. What challenges have you faced? You can just mention like 2 or 3 challenges you faced in the process of building your business and how you were able to overcome them.
Well, yes, actually there were challenges. So yeah, challenges actually make life interesting, and overcoming them makes life more meaningful. So I tell people, if you don't encounter challenges in your journey, then it means you don't have any story to tell. That is just the truth about it. All right. So first of all, one of the challenges I faced was myself. was myself. Yes, I used to be an introvert, very shy person, very, very shy. So during the periods when I had engagements, physical engagement actually, where people invited me to speak, it was really tug of war. Sometimes I rejected invitations. I did.
Wow.
I turned down invitations to speak. I have a funny story about that actually that happened some years, couple of years ago, and I was asked to come render a speech in a church. A lot of persons were present then. I think it was a yearly harvest, so I was asked to come render a speech. Funnily enough, I accepted. I knew I could not, but I accepted. But then I wanted to try out. So to cut the whole long story short, I was carried home. I was carried home. So that experience really dealt with me. I didn't want it to occur any longer. So it really, really made me lose a lot of opportunities because, first of all, I used to believe that this is me. I'm not supposed to do so much. I'm a shy type, and then I should maintain my person. So that was one of the challenges I had. So thank God for a place of personal development. During that 1 year, actually, I paid for classes, I attended seminars, and then I started engaging myself. So I was able to build that capacity to stand in front of people and talk to people actually. And then, yeah, another thing is financial challenges. Actually, I must be very frank. Finances has been a very, very big challenge, a very big one. I got into school to 2018, and finances was really a big challenge to me. I had things that I was supposed to do, but I could not do them. I had plans, visions that I was supposed to embark on that I could not embark on. So, but thank God. The thing is that sometimes I realize that God allows you to pass through so many processes so you can really find your way through them. And then if you really see people who are passing through such stages of life, you can actually direct them through. So it was in the midst of my financial challenges that I found way to make money online. Yes. It was then that I discovered that you can be in school and then you can be doing a whole lot actually. So all through my first, second year and third year, okay, so I leveraged my smartphone. I did. I leveraged my smartphone, and I understood that finances can only be a challenge if you allow it to be a challenge to you. All right. So if you're facing challenges through life, look for a way to look, just find your way through. Find your way through. You can always find your way. There is always a way around everything. So these are mainly two challenges that I know that have really, 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 really given me tough time as a matter of fact in my life journey. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Miracle Agabi says, okay, I think someone brought someone else here. Someone tagged her and she's here already. Please, Miracle, thank you so much for bringing your friends. Invite more people, okay? Miss Faith Victor Nugre is here. I used to work with Faith a long time ago. Welcome, Faith, and thank you so much for joining the spotlight today. Welcome, Farida. Welcome, Dorcas Paul. Welcome, Peace. Please keep tagging your friends. Get as many people as you can to join us live here today. And we have Dr. Jamie in the room. He's here to talk to us. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Bethel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Okay, why Dr. Jamie joins us? I'm hearing an echo in the background. Shoma, can you hear me? Mm, I'm hearing an echo in the background. If you can hear me, okay, they say they can hear me. Okay, I think. Shoma, can you hear me? Okay, I think Choma is experiencing slight network issues. Bethel, let's continue with you with the questions, right? How are you able
All right.
to? Okay, you do so much online. You've hosted a lot of conferences. You've hosted a lot of trainings and webinars. What do you do to have fun?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very beautiful question, actually. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So, I'm a music person, actually. Yes, I love music so well. So, anytime I want to have fun, I always go out to play some music. I'm actually a keyboardist. Actually, I play the piano. I play piano. I go out for music concerts. I go out for church concerts and all of that. So basically, and then soccer. I'm a football fan. So these are two major ways I have fun. I'm not a party type. I'm not the outing type. So I've always loved my space. I'm a private person, and it's not just everything we do on social media are just a little. It's just a little we want people to know, but then I'm not really a public person. I'm a private person, and then this are just my so it's just either I'm going out for worship concerts, music concerts, or it's football, nothing else. So that's just that.
Okay, it just looks like you combine it so well. It looks like you combine it. Okay, Choma is back. Choma, can you hear me now? It still looks like she can't hear. Okay, good afternoon, Dr. Jamie. Let's welcome Dr. Jamie to the room. He's here to join us.
Hey,
Welcome,
Chuma.
sir.
How are you, Bethel? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir.
Good, good. Chuma, you're muted. We can hear you, Chuma. We can hear you.
Welcome, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me now?
Good. Now I can hear you now. Success was trying to get your attention. Success, do you want to have a question for her? I've been enjoying you guys' section and um really excited with what you both are doing. And Success, do you have a question for Choma before I jump in? Think you wanted to ask her something?
Yeah, yes, we have a whole lot of questions for her. Choma, I wanted to ask the challenges you face while building your business and how you are able to overcome them.
Okay, I think one of my major challenges has been health wise. Um, when it's one thing to have passion and goals, and then your body doesn't support you to pursue those things. I get sick very easily. I've actually not been very active for the past few days because I've been down health wise. So I'm showing up here because we already had a commitment and everything. So when I first started out, after every class I would hold, I would get sick. So that was a major problem. I had to understand my body. Even these days, if I travel, once I get back, it'll take like a week for my body, for me to rest and get better. Otherwise, I would be very sick. So that has been a major issue, but it also made me to now take note of what I eat. I had to cut off a lot of things from my diet. I had to ensure I was fit and all, and basically just live a healthier lifestyle. Plus, there was the issue of having goals but not having clarity. That was a struggle for me. I would know that I want to achieve this. I would see the big picture, but then the little steps to take were the problem. And when you have dreams and ambitions without a direct step, it can lead to depression, it can lead to frustration. And those are not very good, and those are not elements that will help you in your journey, right? So for a long time, I battled with those things. Those were mental problems, clarity of vision. So I had to attend a lot of events. I had to speak to some people I had access to, and they helped me in my journey. I know I said that I had a lot of role models and very few mentors, but even the few mentors I had, they were very instrumental to my journey. Do not ever underestimate the power of having someone you can go and pour out all your issues to. They might not even give you solution, but for the fact that you have someone that can listen to you, it does a whole lot. When you can onboarding your issue, someone that understands and not just tell you, oh, you are the one, they are the problem, you are dreaming too big. But that they can listen to you and say, oh, okay, I understand you. This is the problem, right? Okay, they might not give you solution, no, but just the fact that somebody understands how you feel helps you a whole lot. It helps me a whole lot. So I would say, okay, I'm not weird. I'm not oversabi, like we would say among peers, right? I'm not I too know. It's not ITK that is worrying me. It is the burden of having big dreams but not having clarity, or the fear of failing again. Because when you journey, when you have goals, when you're embarking on projects, you would fail a couple of times, and sometimes the past failures can affect your current goals, because you remember that, I tried something before, it did not work. This one I'm working on right now, is it going to work, or will I have to face that same failure? So it affected me for a while. And what I had to do was I had to talk to myself and sit myself down. But first I cried. It's okay to acknowledge your feelings. If you don't acknowledge them, they will occur again. So I acknowledged those feelings, and then I sat myself down and found out practical ways. I told myself, oh, failing is part of the process. When you fail, pick the lessons and move on. When you fail, pick the lessons and you move on. For example, when we targeted 10,000 African youths, it worked for us. We got about 10,000, I think 9,000 before the event. And then we had an event. Imagine getting up to 10,000 people for an event in just 3 months. We did that. And that was my first trial. We did it. So I was very pumped up. I said, okay, let us now do 50,000 African youths. And we had about, I think, 3 months or 2 months too. We didn't get that number. We got about 17,000. And I was very disappointed. I was depressed. But what I had to tell myself was that if the failure in quotes could pull me down, am I not looking down on the success we've had in the past? If failure can have that effect on you, what about the success you've had before? So I like to I like to give things their due place. I like to give things their due place. Failures are for lessons, success are for motivation. So focus on the success you've had. Let it motivate you to say, oh, I did this before, I can do this better. And then the failure, say, oh, I failed in this before, why did I fail? And then pick your lessons from it and move on. I don't know if what I've said is tied together neatly. I mentioned one of my struggles was health. So I had to work on what I eat. I'm very, very careful about all of my health regimen. And then I said the frustration, the failure, fear of failure, and everything. What worked for me was understanding the place of failure and the place of success. The fact that you failed means that you didn't do something right. You could work on it, pick the lessons from it, and do better next time. And the fact that you've succeeded in the past before means that you can succeed in your next endeavor if you pick also what helped you succeed that previous time. If you pick what helped you succeed that previous time, it's going to work. It's going to help you in your next project. And one time, this is a story, a very, very short story. One time we had a project. And just before the project started, we had some speakers say that that can disrupt your plans just before launching your project, and you have speakers say we can't come up. What did that teach me? It taught me to have a contingency plan. It taught me to have a plan A and a plan B. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, because my network was funny for a moment. It taught me to have contingency plans, alternative plans, a plan A and a plan B. So these days, when I invite speakers to speak at events, I always have it at the back of my mind, what if something comes up at their end? Because we are all human beings, right? They might not plan to disappoint you, but they might have a circumstance that they really, really can't control, something beyond their control. So I always have something back up to fill in those spaces. Okay, if this speaker does not show up, what will I do in this time frame? So one thing I've learned from my challenges is when these things happen, when failure happens, when things you did not plan for happen, learn from it and prepare better for it next time. I work for a maker novice, and today he made a post on Facebook about a speaking engagement that went awry, and how that bad experience has made him to now put certain measures in place. So when things don't go well, when you fail, when you succeed, all of these, pick the lessons from it to do better in your next project. If you've not, okay, if you go through my journey and you see all the milestones we've achieved, if you see our progress, you notice that we keep improving, we keep getting better. First, I told you skill up was for just teach people skills. Then the next time we added words, we added speakers to share their life stories. And then the next one we did was what? Million naira idea, because now we understood that apart from skills, apart from learning the life success secrets, apart from learning business etiquette, how can they actually start these businesses? And then we give them seed capital, and then we give them mentorship for 1 year. So we keep improving on what works. People say if something is not broken, don't fix it. But if all our inventors had that notion, we would not have anything new invented. What was wrong with the bicycle? We would not have the airplane. After all, the bicycle is not broken. Your car is not broken. It works perfectly well on the road. If we had the idea of something is not broken, don't fix it, you would not have newer inventions. So if something works, if you succeed at something, find out how to improve it the next time. That's how we have grown. If something works, improve it the next time. If something fails, ask why and fix it. There must be a reason why something did not work. The inventor of the light bulb, right? How many times did he try? 99 times. And then he got it right the last one. There's something that's not working. So find out why. And though I don't like the word failure, I might have used that word several times because it's what people connect with. But the word failure is not the right term for challenges. I rather call it life lesson curves. Lesson curves. For example, we would say he did not fail to make the light bulb 99 times. He just learned 99 ways you cannot make a light bulb.
All right, so Chioma, let me
Thank you.
ask you a question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chioma? Bethel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
We
you,
can
sir.
hear you, sir.
I can hear you, sir.
All right. So my question is this: if you are to start all over again, what is that one thing that you would first do? If everything you've achieved, you've done, is been taken away from you today, like what is that? Where will you start from?
Hmm.
Good question, right?
Yeah. I think for me,
You want to phone a friend?
I would start with relationships. For a
Okay.
long time, I was a one-man army.
Mm,
And looking back now, that slowed me down a lot. These days, I'm seeing myself doing work previously would have taken me years. I'm seeing myself having access to information that I would not even know about maybe 5 years to come. But because of people that I have in my circle now, they send these things to my DM. Because of relationships, I think if I was to start all over again, I would prioritize relationships. I
That's
would prioritize getting to know people. I would
oh,
prioritize service. You know,
so
relationship is here,
go
it
ahead.
encompasses a whole lot. It's not
Yeah.
about just knowing people. It's not about just having friends. It's not about just having the right circle who would serve, who would give you information or who would let you know about opportunities, but about people you can also serve. I started serving Emeka Nubes last year, and what I've gotten from him within 1.5 years, if I was not with him, I would not have gotten those things. I've learned so much by volunteering for him. Sir Jamie, do you know that my story, me getting to know you, is tied to Emeka Nubes? It's one of the biggest things I'm most grateful to him for till today.
Yeah.
I was
All right. So while we're waiting for her to come back, and I do believe that all of you that are listening to me now or that are listening to her, you heard what she said. Relationship is key. Relationship is key because life is not just about what you know, life is also about who knows you. And that is basically tied down to a relationship. So, Onyema, before I continue, if everything is taken away from you, where are you going to start from? What will you start from? Where are you going to
Okay,
start
sir.
from? Where will you start with?
I would say mentorship, sir. Mentorship. I got clarity. I got clarity and clear cut direction in life when I submitted under a mentor. When I had someone who held me, who I was always accountable to, and who sat me down, taught me the way to service, taught me the way to learning. So I never knew that one can actually know too well, but still don't know enough. Okay,
Mm,
so I felt I was just a young guy driven by passion and dreams, and that was just enough. I never understood that there was a place for service and there was a place for learning. So I would always prioritize mentorship. Mentorship. I had people who inspired me from afar, but I never submitted under anybody to
mm,
hold me responsible and then give me clarity on my journey. So you can be filled with so much dreams, inspirations, and all of that, but then you are putting a whole lot of energy, but then you are still moving in circles. No progress, no productivity. But a lot of energy has been put in because there is no clarity, there is no direction. And I would say I would love to leverage on the experiences of people who have gone ahead of me, and that is the place of mentorship, sir. Thank you very much.
You see, you both have just mentioned two things that are very, very critical. Chima said about relationship, and yes, Chima, you were right when you said that. I think it was a Mekanovis that made a post about you that made me to check you out and all of that. And that's one thing that he like that's one special thing about him, about promoting young people and all of that are doing amazing work. So relationship is literally very, very key. Onyema, you said something about mentorship, and you pointed on the fact that you can know but still don't know much. And that's very, very key. I've mentioned that several times because there are different levels. There are different levels to knowing. Right? There's a place of no knowledge, and then there's a place of non knowledge, and then the third level is what is a new knowledge. And most times, people that are operating at the level two, which is known, right? The first level is no knowledge at all, no knowledge at all. Then people move to a point where they know something. So that's the point of known knowledge. But a lot of think that a lot of people get to this level and feel like what they have is enough. A lot of people get to this point and feel like, oh, because you can speak grammar and organize a program, that means you have what it takes to now make $1 million.
ah,
And this is one mistake that I see a lot of young leaders are making. because they can stand in front of people and talk, organize a program, put event together. They think that they've known enough, that what they now know is enough to help them to make $1 million. But then you realize that, and that could be why it is good to know. It is also important to notice that, to take note that that can also be what, a stumbling block towards you moving higher in life, because there's another level called new knowledge. And you can only gain new knowledge when you expose yourself to higher authorities, to people who have gone ahead of you, to people who have done things that you are trying to do. I always like to say this, whatever, as a young person, whatever you are trying to achieve today, somebody has just retired from it. So when you attach yourself to someone who has gone ahead of you, right? And that's where the word leverage comes in. Leverage simply means leveraging on other people's effort. That is what's it called? OPE, other people's effort. Other people's effort. And this is one thing that there's so many young leaders that sometimes, do you want to bring Chioma back, please? Success. There are sometimes I see a lot of young people, I love the drive. But you see, there's a difference between moral advice and knowledge. And just like what our parents did to some of us, they were giving us moral advice. When parents would tell a female child, I say, don't let a man touch you. If a man touch you, you will get pregnant. Then a man would touch you, the girl, and said, you see, I've touched you now, you didn't get pregnant. The girl will say, it's true. That's because the parents, that they gave the child moral advice, not knowledge. Not knowledge. And it's very important for, as a young person, for you to do what? For you to begin to go for superior knowledge. I call it superior knowledge. There are people that when they are talking, I sit down and I take notes. There are people that even at my level, even with the things that I have done, even with at the level at which I operate with, at the global level, there are people that when they say sit down, I sit. And that's because instructions are for high flyers. Moral advice is what you give children. Children, when you obey your parents in the law, when you see an elder, what do you do? Say, good morning, sir. But an adult understand that when you see what? When you see an elderly person, you're supposed to do the right thing. So it's very always important for me to ask that question, because a lot of young people are operating at that second level of what? Second level of known knowledge, where and it's very dicey, and sometimes it's might looks like as if you've gotten it all. It looks like as if you have all it takes. It looks like as if, oh, you are now prepared to hit the road. You're not prepared. But you said something here. There's a place of service and there's a place of learning. And I put it this way: some people who are supposed to be students are now teachers. And before you know what's happening, you now realize that success in life is not just about what you know that you want to teach. It's about who knows you, right? It's about who knows you. And I'm really excited for the things that you are doing, for the things that Chioma is doing. One of the reasons we created this platform is to do what? To be able to amplify the voices of young people who are on their own creating impact. And it's very important because we live in a nation where it is difficult to recognize. Recognition is almost like on a zero level. I had a section yesterday where they were talking about reigniting the resilient spirit in youths, in Nigerian youths, towards national building. And I said, there's literally nothing to reignite. There's nothing that happened to the fire. The spirit is there. It didn't die. The only problem is that young people are not channeling it, not towards national building. Because of what? Because of what? There is no recognition. Even those who decided to serve their nations are not being recognized. And whatever you don't recognize will remain unvalued, will not be celebrated. So what we're doing here is celebrating you people. And this is it's me saying thank you for the things you are doing. Thank you, Chema. Please, can you try and bring Chema back
Yeah, I'm
for
trying
the
to reach
things?
out now on WhatsApp.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the things you are doing because, many years ago, um, I was literally, I heard that word in my spirit. He said, keep doing what you're doing because in doing it, you will save yourself and then you will save other people. Right. And it's very, very important that you have recognized that um, how important it is for you to attach yourself and for you to also begin to serve. All right. So, Chioma, can you hear me?
Hey, sir.
All right. So just before I go and allow you people and preach and the success, right? I just want to appreciate you for the work you are doing. I am one person that I see a lot. I'm not a prophet, but I see far. And trust me, when I see people like you, like I have no doubt that you're on the right path because it always looks like a play until you start paying. Keep that word in mind.
Mm,
If it's in church now, they'll shout word, word. But keep that in mind. It always looks like a play until it starts paying. It always looks like what you're doing is a play until it starts to the pay. And then that's when people will realize, that um, you are actually in serious business. I remember many years ago when I started doing these things. I remember when I did my first program as a teenager and I put under my name international speaker and people were laughing at me, right? It always starts as a play until it starts paying. Right today, I charge $10,000, I charge $5,000, I charge in hard currencies, and that's because of what? Because of that consistency, right? So remember that word. Remember that word. It always looks like a play until it starts paying, right? Keep doing what you're doing because in doing it, you will save yourself, you will build a great future for yourself, and you will also do what? Recreate your word, and most importantly, help other people by creating a platform that will also help other people to find their feet and to recreate their word, right? So thank you so much. I'm going to exit now. Allow you people to do your thing.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Can you hear me? All right. So I think I'm the only one here. Maybe there are some technical issues other speakers are having right now, but they'll be back very shortly. All right. So while I wait for other speakers to come on board, I believe just a glitch. They'll be back here shortly. I was saying something before I got knocked off by some issues over here. I was talking about relationships, and I mentioned that I served under a Novice, and I was about to share one of the benefits of that relationships. The thing about serving people is you never really understand what's going to come out of it. You never really understand the full benefits, the full weight of what you're getting yourself into until you're doing it. You can start out having one goal in mind. For example, I served under Emeka Nobles because I wanted to study him. I wanted to learn from him. I'm doing good, but he's doing way, 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 way better than I am doing. So I wanted to learn from him to see, I wanted to watch to see how he's getting the results he's getting. I wanted to study him. I wanted to be around. So I worked, so I'm working right now as an executive assistant, following him for events, staying at the office, watching him, carrying out tasks assigned to me, contributing my ideas, and that's how I've grown. That was the goal, to learn business, to learn how to monetize my skill. But I did not know that I was going to get much more out of my service than I had bargained for. Because guess what? I got to know Sir Jamie through the Dawn. How did that happen? I was at the office. I was at the office one day, and came in. He mentioned that he had an event in Owerri. He was going to speak there. He was going to get an award. And he said, Choma, come along with me. Do you have anything you're doing tomorrow? I said, no. He said, come along with me. Very impromptu. He told me about the JPI conference. I've never heard about the JPI conference. I didn't know what it's about. But I said, okay, I came to Port Harcourt for a reason. I came to follow you for events. So why would I have any reason to say no? I followed him to the event the next day. And that was how I got to know about the JPI brand. I was blown away by the event. If you check my timeline, you see highlights of some of the clips, some of the things I learned at JPI conference last year in Owerri. And I started following Sir Jamie on Facebook because if I'd gotten so much value from a one-off event, one-day event, how much more can I gain following you online and seeing your daily posts? So I followed him, and this year, was it this year? This year, yes. He made a post about JPI Rwanda conference. I pitched. I got chosen. I attended JPI Rwanda conference in Rwanda on full scholarship. Can you think about it? Last year, I did not even think this was going to happen. Traveling out was not in my plan for the year, and it happened because I was working with a mechanobase. He brought me to an event. I got to know about Sir Jamie. I followed him. I got to know about the information. If I had not attended that JPI conference, I would not have known about Sir Jamie. I would not have known about the opportunity. So that it leads to a chain of effects, a chain of positive results, a chain of activities that could just turn your life around. And then the JPI conference in Rwanda has been one of the biggest opportunities I've gotten so far. The networks I've built, the things I've learned, the way my brand is growing, the way we are shaping our thought. We have a lot of things that are going on the ground that are not yet social media knowledge. And it's just mind-blowing how one decision can lead to this kind of chain of events. So if you've not been prioritizing volunteering, mentorship, relationships, you really should. Did I mention that it was at the JPI conference last year I met Peter Obi in person? And when I posted a picture about Peter Obi, I think that was when I got the highest engagement, got a lot of followers, and it really shaped the perception of my brand. It elevated my brand's perception. One picture at one event that I was taken to, thanks to my relationship with one man. That is the power of relationships. Although I can't see comments because I'm a guest speaker via StreamYard, so I can't see comments right now. And it feels a lot like I'm talking to myself, but if I'm not, I hope this short story helps you to value relationships. My story with Genevieve, I can't tell you the amount of opportunities, amount of deals I've gotten because I got that one invite to speak at Head Start Summit, the one that was organized in partnership with Access Bank. Relationships. And I did not expect to get that invite. Am I qualified for it? Am I qualified to speak? Yes. But I was not expecting it. But why did I get that? I'd, I'd followed Johnny BD for years. I'd followed Johnny BD for years and I'd served. Oh, I think our speakers are coming back on board. Okay, our speakers are coming back on board. Or was I the one that was knocked
Oh,
off?
thank you so much.
Hi,
No, you
success.
are still here. Thank you so much.
Oh, I was
Thank you
thinking I
so
was
Yeah,
much
I
speaking
was
to
for
myself.
keeping the floor engaged. Thank you for keeping them engaged. Seriously, it's been
I
very,
was still
very, very long. You're welcome back, man. Sussex. You're
yeah,
welcome
thank
back.
you so much. Welcome back, Bethel. Thank you so much, Chioma. I had a little bit of network glitch and I had to solve it immediately
Oh,
before I came back here. So, yeah.
all right, no
So let's
problem.
continue with the question. Yeah, let's wrap up quickly so you can go and rest, right? You said you were sick and you really need to rest. Um, So, what mistakes have you made so far? You've said a lot of mind blowing things that you've been able to accomplish. Like, we've been wowed. Everybody has been singing your praises. They love you and all of that. So, but I want you to let us know the mistakes that you've made in the past and what we can learn from them.
Hmm. Okay, I think one of the reasons why I'm not so hard on people these days is because when I see people do certain things, I understand because I've been there before. And I know that they're doing those things because they don't know better. If you know better, you do better. Now I know better, I don't do those things anymore, right? So one of the mistakes I made early on was sending people silly DMs. I was that girl that was in people's DM for useless reasons, very silly reasons.
Wow.
Either I was looking for votes or I was asking for, I was selling in a not salesy way. I was asking people I had no relationship with to buy into my project and give me money. So to me, I feel so silly to think I did things like that. Like, how would you go to a stranger's DM and say, "Oh, my magazine is coming out, pay, launch it for me with so and so amount"? Like, it sounds so silly now, but I did those things, and now I wish those I could remember their names. I'm going to delete my DMs. I'm going to delete those DMs, but those I cannot remember, I'm just praying, God, please, before they send me a DM, let me see them and check. So some people's name I see on my Facebook list these days, and I go to check your DM. If I have any useless message there, let me delete it first before you check it out. And thankfully, many of them did not open it till I deleted it. So as you're starting out, please don't make that mistake of sending people useless DMs. Your brand might not have anything to lose now, but you're going to grow, and then you will have something to lose. You will be embarrassed. Anything you want to do today, ask yourself: if I say this thing in 5 years' time, will I be proud of it? Will I be proud of this action I'm about to take right now? Will I? And secondly, some of the mistakes I made was that another mistake I made was that I was not very organized. So I could say we're going to have this today and then it will be next week, not being able to keep to my word. And it caused a lot of issues for me. At the beginning, it might not matter. But when people might excuse you at the beginning, say, "Oh, she's just starting out. This one is just a newcomer." But when you begin to grow, people would have more expectations of you, right? Can't you keep to this thing? Can't you keep your word? It begins people begin to expect you not to keep your word, and that's
I can't hear you. It's mute. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so how about you? What mistakes have you made in your journey and what can we learn from them?
Okay, so I want to talk to my dear multi-potentialites that are watching us right now. See, it's it's a gift to have so many talents. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to have so many skills and all of that, but it's going to be a disaster if you don't set your priorities right, if you don't focus, if you don't build capacity. I see a lot of persons they are trying to engage in so many things at the same time. That's very bad. Okay, so I know as a motivator, I believe that anybody can do so many things, and then you can be in so many things and then still be productive at the same time. But see, there is a place for priority, there's a place for focus. Um, you see, having so many skills is very beautiful. As a matter of fact, you should have more than one skill. Okay. But if you are someone who do not have clarity, you don't focus, you don't try to stay on one thing, build mastery, get expertise and all of that, build so much capacity, and then before you move to other things, you're gonna run around the circle. It's gonna be a very big disaster to you. So I see a lot of persons, I mean, multi-potential light, and then they are trying to do this, do this, do this. You were here, you were here, you have no focus, you were everywhere at the same time. You're just gonna spend time without results. You're just gonna spend time without results. So it's a gift to be multi-potential, but then please always focus, set your priorities right. What is it that you want to do now that's going to give you a sense of fulfillment? Stay there, build, gain mastery. Okay, once you gain mastery, then you can move to something else. Since you know there are so many skills that are within your capacities to build, then fine. Okay, then focus first. Focus. Me, I used to feel like, guy, I must do this, I must do this, I must do this. I know how to do this, so I should be here. I can do this, I should be here. I can do this, I should be here. And at the end of the day, you are doing so much, you are everywhere, but then the result is not visible, is not evident. All your efforts is not productive. So, to my dear multi-potentialites in this place, there's a place for priority. Set your priorities right. Okay. If you have one skill that you know is giving you what you want, is giving you the income, is giving you the fulfillment, stay there, build mastery, get competence, lay your tent there before you move to something else. So, that is just that.
Okay, Choma, how about you? What Bethel just said about being multi-talented and combining them now is striking a chord to somehow what you do. How are you able to combine spoken word, writing, and I know you have a fashion brand as well, that decent and beautiful. So, what do you have to say to people who are multi-talented?
Okay, I have a different view about that though. I believe people should be willing to explore. Do not box yourself. I understand the idea about when you specify. Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you. Someone please tell her in the comment section
Okay.
that we can hear her.
I understand that when you okay, I understand the idea that when you specify what you do, when you're specific about what you do, it helps you to build authority faster. But we say that speed is not an advantage if you're running in the wrong direction. Speed is not an advantage if you're running in the wrong direction. So if you just pick one thing up and without weighing what is the best fit, I don't see how that serves you. You don't want to spend years on just one thing without testing out other options. Like for me, I started as a writer, public speaker, spoken word artist. I did a lot of things at the beginning before I started to focus on one at a time. And why did I do all of that? I wanted to see which one had the most potential to make money. Because all of them had one thing in common. I was passionate about all of them. But passion is not enough. You must know how to, you must be able to monetize that gift, right? So I was willing to try out all of them in
Yeah.
small doses. and then see which one people responded to the most. Because we listen to the market is what determines what you do, right? What the market responds to means you have the biggest opportunities there. So I saw what the market responded to, and then I followed up on that. The market responded most to my write-ups. People loved my stories more. So I focused on writing. I'm not saying that focusing is wrong. I'm not saying being a specialist is wrong. Focusing on one skill is wrong. I'm saying at the beginning you might want to explore. You might want to see what the market actually wants from you. Because it's not about what you want, but what the market wants. You don't want to have a skill that nobody is in demand of, unless it's just for fun. But if it's for business, you want to ensure that the market needs it. So after a while of focusing on writing, building authority as a writer, building attention, building a brand there, monetizing it. I said, okay, let me bring in the public speaking now. Because writing and public speaking, they are not mutually exclusive. You can do both. So you might find out, I tell people that having a niche is not being boxed in a prison. It gives you room to still explore other things. You just have to find a middle ground where they are both interconnected, how you can carry them along. So I found out, oh, writing does not stop me from speaking, from being a public speaker, because now I'm just expressing myself, my message in two different forms. So if I want to say I am happy, I can either write I am happy, I can post I am happy as a text, or I can make a video saying what I am happy. So I found out how to express my message in different forms. So I grew my brand as a writer, as a public speaker. And I said, okay, no, I also love public speaking. So I can say I am happy now in a more artistic form. It's still the same message, right? It's still the same Chioma Nnanna, coach with results. Every express is in what I love doing, spoken words. So I can now say, ye are pleasantly, or whatever, in a poetic form, right? So I still pass across my message in spoken word. And that works for me. So I would take out time. So maybe for 3 months, I would be more focused on my public speaking. Then the next 3 months, I'll be more focused on my spoken word. So he's still right, though, about focusing on an area. But I did not say, oh, I'm going to block off every other thing I was good at. I was able to carry them all along, because I would build one for a period of time and then add the second one. The thing is that I understood the middle ground. There was a middle ground in all of this. My message was the same. The medium just changed. And then I went to my fashion brand. Even with my write-up, I talked about fashion, right? So if I found out how to merge all of these. How did I bring DAB into the picture? Of course, when I post my write-ups, I would wear clothes. Will I just post a write-up? I would wear clothes I'll take pictures. If I make my videos, I'm wearing outfits, right? You're admiring my outfits. And then what's the story of Chioma? You dress differently. You look different from from a lot of ladies in today's conventional world. Oh, I make my spoken word videos. I'm wearing clothes and I'm not a rapper. You're seeing my videos. Oh, Chioma, I like your outfits. What's the story behind your outfits? Then I talk about fashion. Talk about my outfits. Oh, because I believe in dressing decently and looking beautiful at the same time. So I found a middle ground for all of these. So when I post my write-ups, I will add my fashion brand to it. I found a way to carry them all along. The problem is when you have very distinct niches, when you're not able to find a middle ground, then it becomes confusing for your audience. When you can find a middle melting ground, it becomes easier for everybody to understand you. So if you think of Chioma Nnanna, you can understand I'm a writer. You're not confused. I'm a public speaker. You're not confused. I'm a spoken word. You're not confused. I have DAP. You're not confused. I have CIB Africa. You're not confused. I have Yagi. You're not confused, because you understand that Yagi is for secondary school students. My passion to enlighten them. My passion for them. Then CIB Africa is for young people like me. So there's no confusion in all of this. It's just finding a way to explain all of these things with clarity. And now, after a while, I understood that this thing can still get confusing. So I separated my brand. Now I don't post about DAB on my page as often as that. We have a separate brand, it's a separate Facebook page for DAB. And we have social media handler for it now. So DAB is now a separate entity from Chioma Nnanna. CIB Africa, we are going to soon separate it from Chioma Nnanna. So at a point, you might start out controlling everything. Then later on, you might start out giving each one attention at a particular time. Know when is the time to give that an attention. I stopped spoken word for a while, then I focused again when spoken word started getting the needed attention in Nigeria. I don't know if you knew when spoken word started getting traction in Nigeria and on the online space. Then I started that again. I started doubling back on my work as a spoken word artist. So you have to understand times and seasons. Times and seasons. Be very, very sensitive to the market. What is the market saying? When people were asking me for more spoken word poems, I started posting my spoken word poems more. So understand what the market is saying. The market is king. You are not serving yourself. Your products are not for you. Your skills are not for you. Your talents are not for you. You're meant to give them to people. The public, the people online are the ones who need it, right? So you must know what they want at that particular time. After you see, despite having all these things, you must now know how to separate them. Separate the business from the person. That is how we have all these big brands. So Melu Melu is not UBA. That is why they can have different entities. If you are a multi-potentialite, one thing that must be at the back of your mind at a point after a while is that this thing you cannot run everything alone. You must learn how to build structures and systems. Have to learn how to build what structures and systems. We have a different social media. We have a page for Yagi. We have a page for DAP, and they have different handlers. So if you see post on that, I'm not the one posting it. I oversee it. Yes, I give approvals. I give feedback. I tell them, oh, I don't really like that thing. They send me messages, but I'm not the one in charge again. So I've carried the vision at the beginning. Now it's time for me to hand it over and give it structure. I don't. If what I'm saying is making sense, please let me know.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
you're making
So you
sense.
must be able to give this thing structure at a point in time. Give this thing structure at a point in time. Otherwise, you will still end up confusing your audience. So because now I want to focus, like I said, I will still go back to focusing on certain things. So now I'm focusing on what? CIB Africa and my work as a spoken word artist. So when I've built this CIB Africa to a point, it would be what? A separate organization. Now I don't have to be the face in front of the brand. Just like how JPI is now. We don't always have to see Dr. Jamie. We are having this youth spotlight on JPI from JPI, right?
University.
But he's not the one interviewing us. The university page. He's not the one interviewing us. I'm sure he's not the one that's making the post. We have a handler. It has a handler, right? So you must learn how
Yeah.
to build structures around what you do if you're a multi-potentialite. No, you don't have to kill off your talents. The God that gave you this talent understands why he gave it to you. So there are reasons. Okay, remember the Bible passage, that parable of the talents? I like Bible stories a lot. Parable of the
Yes.
talents. They gave
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
talent, they gave one 2 talents, they gave one 10 talents. So imagine the person that was given 5 talents, actually 5, 2, 1. I'm a Bible scholar. Don't mess with me. So imagine the person that was given 5 talents, saying like, this talent is too much for me. Oh, what am I going to do with it? Let me trade with 1 and bury the 4. What will God do? Right? Thinking about it now. Thinking about it now. Just imagine he's like, oh, 5 talents is too much. Would they say I'm too greedy trying to come and sell all these talents at the market? Let me bury 4, Joe. Let me sell only 1. One is okay. Let me be a specialist in this 1 talent. When he comes back, him and that one that went to go and bury the talent, they will send all of them to the same place. But he understood that all of them were given to him for a reason. He has to trade with them. Now it's called what? Wisdom is profitable to direct. It's now how you go about exploring those talents that matter. The timing, the
And that is
season.
where the issue comes in. That is how to explore all of them is where the issue comes in, and that is where they need so much clarity actually. Sorry to cut you short, but continue please.
All right, so the timing, the seasons. I know it won't be a walk in the park. See, life is a journey. If we begin to see life as something we must get right at the first go, it's going to be very, very frustrating because you will make mistakes.
Definitely.
You would stumble. I didn't know all this at the beginning. I stumbled into them. Maybe if I had mentors, it would have been easier. As I say, have mentors. So imagine me advising someone that is a multi-potential now. Because of my journey and the clarity I've gotten over the years, I would help that person to hasten his or her journey. I will be able to say, oh,
Yes.
I made this mistake. Don't make this mistake. Or this you're about to do is not going to help your journey. You're going to stumble here. If you go this route, you're going to end up frustrated because I have gone ahead,
Yeah.
right? So if they have mentors, if they have access people they can ask questions to make the journey easier for you. Just have people who have. I look for people. I don't really look for popular people. I don't care how many followers you have. That's your headache. I know it's very easy to get carried away by vanity metrics, but when I'm looking for people to learn from, I look at if what I'm doing, thing I want to do, have you done it before? That is what determines if you are qualified for me to look up to you, for me to listen to what you say. It's not about who is. You can have 1,000 followers only, and the way I will rate you, some of my mentors, not mentors because I don't have access to them. Some of my role models, I have way more followers than them, but they are greater in terms of achievements. So I will not allow vanity metrics to hold me down from learning from them. So look for people who are things you are confused about. Look for those who already have clarity on this thing, on these issues, and learn from them. That is how you grow. That is the
That's true.
answer to all these things. And be willing to understand times and seasons. Be open. So some people are very, very out of touch. You must be sensitive to the times. Be sensitive to the times. Look around you, what's going on. Like recently now, there's a competition for spoken word artists. But the spoken word artist out there is unaware. Why? You're not following the right people. How can you be a spoken word artist and you're not following at least two spoken word artists? How can you say you love spoken word, but you've never Googled who is the best spoken word artist in Nigeria? Who is the best spoken word artist in the world? You've never followed them. That is why you are happy being a local champion. That is why you are happy with the small applause you are getting. People, your friends that are not spoken word artists are applauding you for doing rubbish. That might seem like a very harsh word, but let's be frank. Your friends are not spoken word artists, so they see you doing anything and it's blowing their mind and they are praising you for doing nonsense. Because you're not following the right people. That's why you cannot get access to the right information. If you're confused a lot, if you're always confused, you should really check your circle. Check those you are looking up, check those you are following. You're likely following the wrong people and they're adding to your confusion. How can you watch? Honestly, it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting because I've noticed that a lot of times we are the cause of our problems. We're the cause of our problems. Very simple things that could have helped us, we're not doing it. Things that could have helped us, we're not doing it. If you're a multi-potentialite, please look for coaches that are multi-potentialites so that are doing excellently well and
Exactly. I
follow
was
them.
waiting to come into
It will
that. I
help
was
you.
waiting to say that too. Look for people who have
It will help
journeyed
you.
ahead of you. There are a lot of them actually. There are a lot of them actually that are multi-potentialite, and they've built systems. They are doing very well, and none of their talent, none of their skills is lacking. All right, so
See
that is
Steve
just that. Look
Harris
for people
now.
who have done ahead of you.
Steve Harris has MBT to teach business. He also has one relationship course like that for young ladies. Are these not very, very separate?
Yes.
Very,
Relationship and
that's
business. Are they
that's true.
clashing? He's doing it well.
That's true.
He's doing it well. It's because you are following, we become what we hear all the time. You're following coaches that are always telling you to box yourself, and that is why you are having this confusion. If you are
Yeah.
following coaches, because they might have only one talent, so they're speaking from their experience. Nothing is ever absolute. Everything anybody tells
Wow.
you is based on what they themselves have experienced. So the fact that they have maybe one talent, like the parable, they're not telling you, oh, that is what works. That is their own reality. Does not mean it is yours. So look for those who have similar circumstances or similar talent, similar goals and follow them.
I
Life is
think you've
simple.
said
That's
it
really
all,
cool.
Choma. Yeah, you've
That
said it
I
all.
also want to add something to that actually. That's is
Okay.
big I think it's very important. It's very, very important before you submit to anybody, okay, you're trying to learn from them, you have to do scrutiny, like try and know them very well, look at their track record, look at the things they've done, look at the results they have, try and weigh with them and know if these people, their knowledge is what you really, really want. Not just submit to people because other persons are submitting to them, your friends are submitting to them. You see, they post them online. This is my mentor, this is my coach, I'm currently learning, and then you rush and then you submit. It's very bad. You're going to learn crash. That's just the truth. You're going to learning, but then you're not having any constructive ideas to achieve to what particularly you want. And I always say this. I think I said this sometime in my timeline. I said it's very wrong to mentor people out of life experience only. It's very wrong. Experience is very important actually, but the truth about the whole matter is that you see, journey differs. Our life journey differs. Okay, so there are many processes to success. There are many roads to success actually. The road I might take to get to my success might not be actually your own life's journey process. Okay, so irrespective of the fact that I've attained a height of success, it does not make me mentor you streamlined by my own process only. So I should be able to, you know, give you gaps to try and gain experiences on your own too, because even though I'm ahead of you, our processes might not be the same. I might be just one person will just want to, just like Chema said, and then you are multi-potentialite. So I should not kill all your skills, all your dreams, all your because I want you to follow my own process. So it's very wrong to mentor people, particularly because of from your own life experiences. So that's very, very important. Before you choose a mentor, please try and know who they are, check their processes, know who they are, their potentials, the results they made over time, and their track record. That's very important.
Yeah, so the summary here is if you are a multi-potentialite, go and find mentors and coaches who are multi-potentialites and ask them how they are doing it and learn from their mistakes and have them direct you, right? So Choma, let's continue with the mistakes you were making. I only got one mistake where you said you were sending DMs to strangers. Yeah, before we lost you the last time. So you can continue from there.
Okay, I'm trying to think about my mistakes right now because I tend to dwell more on. Can you hear me? I tend to
Yeah,
dwell more on what I've gotten right than what I did not get right. When I did not get things right, I just focus on the lessons from it and then I move on. So let me think. Please give me a moment to think. Hmm. I would say I'm very, very spontaneous. That is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it gets me started. Because procrastination, if you want to stew over an idea over and over again, it can end up just becoming procrastination. You think you are planning, but you're just procrastinating. You think you are planning, but it's just fear holding you back. So being spontaneous can be a good thing. When I put the word out there, I have to now live up to it. But sometimes it can mean that I'm starting something unprepared, something I've not planned for at all. I've announced I'm doing it. And then it puts me under pressure. And pressure can be a good and a bad thing. But then also makes me, if you have very limited time to plan for certain things, you can under deliver. So I had that issue a lot. That was one of my mistakes. Just being very spontaneous, which helped me to start some goals, but also made me underprepared for them. Because I did not have a lot of time to consider and weigh my options to package them better. But it meant that the next time I was doing them, I had learned from my mistakes. So I learned a lot by failing. And the funny thing is that I understand how to reframe my mind. So many people do not know that I consider those things failure. So things I was considering failure because I was able to put it in the right frame. People will see it as a success. So everything's about how it's not about what happens, it's about how you see it, how you respond to it. It's not about what happens, but how you see it and how you respond to it. So I think that was one of my major issues, starting out unprepared, being spontaneous, and then taking things for granted. At the beginning, I started out very young, so I took a lot of things for granted. I took a lot of opportunities for granted. Things that came easily to me, I took them for granted. I did not. If I knew now what I knew then, I think if I had maximized certain things I had access to, I would have gone really, really far. I would have gone really, really far. I had access to certain circles, and then I did not maximize the relationships. I didn't maximize the learning opportunities, and they just went like that. Now I can't get them back. Sometimes, because I was also immature, I did not handle certain relationships well. So those were mistakes. Those were mistakes, right? If I could turn
Wow.
back the hands of time,
I
I would
hope you
have
are
done
learning.
a lot of things differently.
Wow. I'm just reading the comments and I'm wow. They are really, really learning a lot from you, Chioma. You can continue, please.
Oh, okay. I would have done
Sorry.
a lot of things differently. Done a lot of things differently. There were okay. I remember this event I went for in Lagos, and after going for that event, I got access to an exclusive group. And now in that group, we had so many people who are doing amazing things today, like really, really big things. But I can't say that I maximize that platform to the fullest. I can't say I maximize, and because I did not understand the value of this thing, when they even proposed on their own to help me out with certain things, I did not follow up. I did not follow up. And now I remember those things and I'm like, Choma, I feel like flogging you. I had a lot of things slip through my hands. So if you're starting out now, this is my advice to you. Whatever comes your way, treat it with seriousness. Anything that comes your way, treat that thing with seriousness. Any opportunity you get, please handle it like this is the last one you're getting. Any offer you get, grab it with both hands. So at the beginning, I was very, very laissez-faire, very laissez-faire with things. I didn't open my mind into those things, and now they've gone. If I had taken advantage of them, I would have stepped up higher. So at the beginning, so if you're here now and you have that issue, and you think yourself taking many things for granted, please don't do. Later on, your eyes will open and you will see that you had gold in your hand, but you were treating it like it was just mere rock. And now when you need the gold, you've thrown that stone away. It was not stone you threw, it was gold, and it will pain you. So whatever opportunity you get right now, please maximize it. Whatever relationship you build right now, please maximize it. Do not cut people off so easily. Do not cut people off so easily. Do not treat people with levity. Know how to maintain relationship. One of my issue was I'm an introvert. I don't know if it's people don't believe me when I say these things out loud. I'm an introvert. And that is why I find it very funny. I feel life is playing a very paradoxical game on me because all my passions require extrovert skills, they require social skills, but I'm now introverted. So that has been a struggle. How do I bring my introverted self into my social demanding passions? So as hard as I've tried, one of the mistakes I've made is that I was not able to find that middle ground on time. I was able to bring myself to learn how to talk to people on time. So I could still be, for a long time, I would be that girl in the group who would just do what was expected of her, but I would not mingle with people. And like I said, relationships are very important. So I learned to maximize relationships very late. It was last year, just last year, I understood the power of relationships. And now, so imagine how late I understood the power of these things. I was able to come out of my shell. Before I would go to events, and once the event was about to end, God knows I used to be very, very nervous. You will see me smiling in pictures, but I don't know the struggle going on in my heart. That is why till today, if I go for events and I come back exhausted, one thing that got me exhausted was taking pictures and networking, because I'm leaving my comfort zone now. So now I've learned to leave my comfort zone for it, even though it has after effects, but it's helping my brand, right? But at the beginning, it was not so. It was not
You
like
just
that.
came home.
So I had to learn it. I had to learn it. So this is my advice. So this is my advice. What you want might not be in your comfort zone. To get what you
Exactly.
want, you might
Not
have
always
to
in your
do
comfort zone.
what is not pleasant to you,
I think it was
right? So my skills
it,
and my
it
talents were okay, but they demanded something extra.
Choma,
okay.
you can continue.
You were saying
Please
something, please
continue.
go on.
Okay. I think it was
Oh, okay, okay.
Wise Moro that said what you have is okay. What you have um is what okay. So he said what you want is always out of your comfort zone. Okay, what you want is always out of your comfort zone. If it's not out of your comfort zone, then it's already what you have. So the things you want will always want to pull you out of your comfort zone. You must have to put an extra effort to get it. If it is not out of your comfort zone, then you already have it. So that's just that. I wanted to add to
Hmm.
that. Sorry.
Okay, that's really interesting.
All
Let's
right.
ask the last round of questions so Choma can go and rest, right? Let's start with you, Bethel. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Oh wow. Amazing. So it's a big one actually. It's a very big picture. And sometimes when I communicate it to my close pals, it looks very impossible and very scary. Well, I'm seeing myself really having a very big organization where um, youths are given the opportunity, the platforms to explore their potentials. One of the things I've always loved to do is help people harness their potentials. Okay, I want to be that person who would always have that capacity to invest in human development, human capacity development, even without requiring anything from them, financial wise and all of that. So that is why I look up to people like Dr. Jimmy Pajo. Seriously, he really inspires me. He really does inspire me. So that's my target. Seriously, I'm really working towards that. So to get up to that level where I would able to invest in people, financially and otherwise, so human capacity development and all of that. So yeah, a lot more. So this is just for that for now. Yeah.
Okay, Choma, how about you?
In 5 years' time, we should have taken what we do global. We have a lot of projects that are in the pipeline, so by then those projects should be a reality, right? And then for the I can speak for certain products that are already out. In 5 years' time, Yagi should not just be in the 6 schools we've gone to so far. Yagi should be should have visited every state in Nigeria, and we should have visited some African countries too. We should have presence in every state in Nigeria. And what I mean by presence is that we don't just go to those schools, but we actually have a means of getting feedback from them from time to time. We want to be able to follow up these young people. And then CIB Africa something like should have become I don't want to let certain things out of the bag, but let me give this very close metaphor. Should be something like what we have, like the Tony Elumelu Foundation, should be similar to it in 5 years' time, where we can have global opportunities for young people in Africa.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much. Now, the last question, we are going to start with Bethel. You've said so much, Bethel. You've given us a whole lot of advice. You've given us a whole lot of tips. But let's still ask, right? What advice do you have for someone that is really, really confused and does not know where to start? So just give
All
them
right. So
tips. Yeah, like step one, do this, step two, do this, and then just give us guidance on how to start and to be
okay.
like
So
you.
I will always say you see whatever it is you do effortlessly, and that brings you applause, brings you commendations, brings you fulfillment, whether you're putting too much energy or not, leverage on that. Okay, leverage on that. And another thing is this: there is so much capacity in you, and you may not look like it right now, but the truth is, if you believe your dreams, if um your dreams are valid, and if you believe your dreams, you can always actualize it. Okay, so personally, if I can, I used to tell people, if I can, anybody else will, because I was born and bred in an environment where currently what we are doing, people don't believe what we are doing right now. They don't believe that you can stay where you are and you can impact the world. Okay, so people don't believe that. I grew up in such an environment where people don't believe you have the potential to become someone people would always want to hear your voice. You can lend your voice globally and all of that. So can you hear me? Okay. So
Yes, we can.
all right. So I really want to give advice to anybody hearing me currently right now. You can be the best. You can be the best of your version of yourself, right? Your potentials are valid. Your dreams are valid. Just believe in your dreams. Believe in yourself. Okay. Put away the self-limiting beliefs and all of that. If I can, you too can. Okay. So I get so many persons come to my DM and they say I'm very shy. I'm introverted. I'm not ready. My environment is, and I told people just start. Okay, put yourself out there, look for something and engage in. Okay, you build capacity when you are engaging in something. Before you know it, you've developed all that is within you. You developed all the potentials that are hidden inside of you. Just start, put yourself out there. You may not look, in fact, most of the people that I know that are influencing the world right now, they don't look like what they looked years back. If you check their pictures years back, you will marvel. You would marvel. So
Nobody
this
should
is not
post
your
my
real picture.
throwback pictures. Oh.
The truth is that this is not your real picture. This is not the real you. This is not the real you. The real you will manifest when you decide to manifest. Just put yourself out there. There are so many persons waiting for you to impact. Any level, I tell people, see, you may not know too much, right? But the level of knowledge you have, there are persons who would want to leverage it to start out. So many persons who want to hear you. There are people who I cannot inspire. Dr. Jimmy Pajor cannot inspire them. They are just waiting to hear from you. It's just like if they see you making it, then they'll be inspired and know that they too can make it. So just put yourself out there. Your dreams are valid. Dr. Jimmy Pajor will always say, nothing is too big for my mind and
Nothing,
nothing dies in my head. I
nothing
love that
dies
so
in
well.
my head.
I love that so well.
All right, thank
Thank
you
you very
so
much.
much. Yeah, thank you so much. Choma, please, what last advice do you have for us? You've said so many, but we still want more. We want to hear more.
Okay, I like to give advice based on what works for me, right? And I don't like to give very narrowed advice. I like to make it something that you can pick from to adapt to your own unique circumstance. Now, what are the two major things that have worked for me? One, attend events. If you are confused, if you lack clarity, attend events. It might be one word from a speaker that gives you that clarity you need. It might be a sentence. It might be when you network with somebody and hearing their story, it inspires you to say, oh, I actually want this thing too. I never knew that I had this desire, but hearing her share her story, hearing her share her achievement, this is the life I want. It might not come at the first event you attend. It might be the 19th event. But if you keep going, you finally hear that one word that will drop for you. I paid for an event last 2 years, I think. I paid over 100,000 naira for that physical event, just a 2 day event. And it was one speaker that said something. He shared his story. And then what he said, I think I got back that day and I took action immediately. And I cannot quantify the amount of, oh my God, that action I took based on what he said totally changed my brand story, totally changed the game for me. I was no longer competing, I was dominating my niche, I was dominating the space. It blew me up. One speaker, just one speaker, we had several speakers, but one speaker had what I was looking for. So you don't know who is going to give you that one word. That is, you see me attend events a lot. It's not as if I don't have things to do. I have a very busy schedule. I even have speaking engagement for next year already. Oh. Two for next year already. So I have my calendar fully booked. But I go for events, not the ones I'm invited to go and speak, but to go and hear people speak. Because I understand the value of a word. A word can
Yeah.
change your life. A word can change your life. A single sentence can change your life. It has. I told you about Jamie Pajol event conference in Rwanda. If I show you my notes, I like to write a lot. I'm always usually with a pen or my phone to type. If I show you the action steps I've gotten from the Rwanda conference and the big moves we have in the pipeline, things we are actively working on, you will be shocked. This is the power of listening to people who have gone ahead of you. You might be confused now, but when you listen, it has that way of opening your mind to see possibilities, things you never thought were possible before. When you hear people's achievement, you're like, oh, so this is possible. And there is so much you can achieve when you believe it is possible. When you believe something is actually possible to achieve, the way you pursue that thing changes than when you were thinking that thing was not realistic. The way you pursue that thing changes. If you believe that you will get admission, the way you will read for that jam will change than when you believe, oh, I don't have someone that will sponsor me. You will not read the same way. You will read differently because now you know that, oh, you have the means. This thing is possible. You will change the way you pursue that thing. And also volunteering, right? So I don't keep you here. Volunteering is not, you're not doing someone a favor by volunteering for them. You are doing yourself a favor. I see volunteering as someone giving me a chance to learn under them for free. I feel to today that I should be paying the maker notice. But I've not told him yet, so he doesn't change his mind and try to charge me for volunteering for him. I feel I should be paying him. Because the amount of things I've learned working under him, things I would not have tried out on my own. He would just come to the office and say, Chioma, do this and this. And I'm like, sir, how? And then he has to explain to me. So he's teaching me for free. And you say I'm volunteering. My dear, I am tapping knowledge for free. What I'm just spending is my time, but he's spending is giving me access.
Yeah.
Volunteering will help you, even if it's a virtual event. You will be pushed beyond your limits. If you were a graphic designer before, now you would have the demand to create excellent design. So they will stretch you. You will get to network people, you will get to build relationship. See, volunteer. That's the summary. Just volunteer. Volunteering is a gold mine that we don't appreciate a lot because we are so focused. We're such a very money centered generation. Our generation is so money centered. We want to be paid for everything. I'm a big advocate of charge your words, get money, understand the business of your skills, but also know that there are certain things you cannot pay for. There are
Yeah.
things you can't pay for. So volunteer your way through them.
Wow, we've spoken for over 2 hours. Today, everybody's feeling the impact today. Everyone is feeling the impact. I am getting so many ideas. I'm getting a lot of so many light bulb moments. There's a last question for you, Miss Chioma. Someone is asking if you could share what the speaker spoke about, if possible. It's on the screen.
No, I paid over 100K for that. If I ask my shares for it for free, never. My sister, no way.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Toby, you've heard her reply. She says no, she paid over 100K. So maybe go under her mentorship, right? Either pay your way through or serve your way through until she gives you the answer. So it's time to say goodbye to our guests, right? They've really, really shared a whole lot. And I don't want to do that if the comment section is not on fire. Guys, please, it's time. Appreciate Chioma and Bethel in the comment section. Please, I want them to see you felt their impact, right? I also want them to feel our impact. Let them feel your impact. Say thank you, Chioma. Thank you, Bethel. Put your fire emojis. I'm not seeing any fire emojis here too. Please, please, please thank them so they can go and rest, okay? Thank them in the comment section. Thank them in the comment section. Bring your fire emojis. Bring your fire emojis. Yes, I can see them now. I can see them now. They are thanking you. Please thank them in the comment section. They've poured out everything. They've shared a whole lot. And we cannot thank them enough. See the time. This is like almost 2 hours, 30 minutes. This should be a master class, something that if they charge you to hear, you are still going to pay. So please thank them. Thank them for coming. We appreciate them. We love them. God bless you. Thank you so much. They are really grateful, Chioma and Bethel. And all of us at Jamie Padoli International are super grateful. Thank you so much for showing up today. And Chioma, thank you so much for showing up as well, despite your health condition, for not canceling. Really appreciate that. So thank you so much. You can go and rest now. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Success. It's glad doing this with you, Coach Chioma. Thank you very much for coming on board.
All right. Thank you,
All
Bethel.
right.
You can.
Bye.
Okay. Chioma, thank you as well. Do you have any last words to say to us? Chioma, can you still hear us? You are muted. Your mic. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now, but I wasn't able to hear you a moment ago.
Oh, okay. We were just thanking you. You can see what is going on in the comment section. Like it's mind blowing.
Okay.
It's mind
My
blowing.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So thank you so much. You can go and rest now.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you so much. So, guys, you've heard them right. Today's session, it has to be the longest, 2 hours, 28 minutes. They've poured out everything, and there's nothing much to say, right? So, thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you in the next edition. Just like they said, join, attend events, join mentorship sessions. Make sure that we see you at the JPI Youth Conference that is happening in Port Harcourt next year, March 2024. Chioma is going to be there. There are also so many young persons that have already registered. So please find the link around the group. The university page is what we've been posting, the JPI Annual Leadership Youth Program. It's happening in Port Harcourt, so make sure that you are there. The closest one we have is the mentorship session. Our next session is on Saturday. So please ensure that you get yourself into these programs. And until we get you, we are on your way, until we bring to you the next session, please keep engaging with the university. Thank you so much for joining.